the GLF Bond 2020 final day event. So I would like to chip this in that the GLF actually thought of going digital all the way from 2019. And this is not just any little event, it is actually a conference on its own. The wonderful thing about GLF Bond Digital 2020 is that if you were to go to a very ordinary conference, normal conference, and you miss a workshop session, you missed it. But with GLF Bond Digital, you can go from one session and watch another session when they are already done. Isn't that amazing? And there is endless opportunity for networking. At this very moment, we would like to take an inspirational talk from Ada Osakwe. Ada is the founder and CEO of Agrolay Ventures, an agribusiness investment company, and an awarded winning entrepreneur. She was formerly employed by the Tony Elumelu Foundation as Senior Investment Advisor to Akin Adesina, Nigeria's former Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. There, among other activities, she led the development and launch of the 96 million fund for agricultural financing. Isn't that amazing? In Nigeria, and is an innovative private equity fund focused on small and medium-sized agro-business processing companies in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, and everybody watching us from wherever you are across the globe, I present to you Ada Osakwe. Enjoy yourself.
Welcome to the final day of the Global Landscapes Forum Digital Conference. The insightful conversations over the last few days remind me why I became an agribusiness entrepreneur. You see, I started off my career in finance. After years of working on infrastructure projects and trading government bonds, I went into public service, joining the Nigerian government's Federal Ministry of Agriculture as a senior investment advisor to the minister. While I was here, I learned how my country, Nigeria, was spending over $12 billion annually importing staple crops like rice and wheat, making us highly food dependent as a country. The interesting thing was that there was an opportunity to grow these crops right here on our own lands by our own farmers. And so I dug deeper. Being the investor I am, I began to appreciate the immense opportunity of bringing that production back onto our own soils. Why should we be importing fruit juice concentrate from Europe when we were Africa's largest producer of pineapples and second largest producer of citrus fruits like oranges? Why were we spending over $1 billion annually importing tomato derivatives like paste and ketchup when the data showed we were producing over 2 million tons of tomatoes annually, the largest producer in West Africa? We were robbing our farmers of their livelihoods. I could see that our government and development partners were working to get our farmers to produce more. But this wasn't really done with consideration for how they would sell what they produced and what they harvested. So farmers ended up increasing their yields and harvests, but not having anyone to sell to, causing food waste and a vicious cycle of poverty. I learned that the key was in not just improving the yields and expanding production, but finding ways to add value to this agriculture, to make sure it became a food product demanded by consumers right here in Nigeria. This was the only way we could ensure our farmers had a consistent, sustainable uptake for what they harvested. And so I became so obsessed with agribusiness and creating commercially viable avenues for Nigerian agriculture. I invested in companies that were buying from farmers to process and add value. And in 2015, I decided to roll up my own sleeves and build a company to do this myself. This company is the Nuli Juice Company. We started off producing fresh, all natural beverages using only locally grown fruits and vegetables, which we sourced from small-scale farmers. This meant that we were directly contributing to creating sustainable demand for them. And because we were staying local rather than importing the foods, it also made sure we had a shorter supply chain that allows for more inclusion and sustainability and obviously nutritional value in our food system. By adding value to agriculture in the form of our products, we were also building a local food brand, and so we were creating a consistent, dependable market for local farmers. Last year, Nuli bought 332,000 tons of fresh agricultural produce from Nigerian farmers. My philosophy is very simple. Our success is a farmer's success too. We were determined to turn poverty to wealth. But Nuli wasn't founded solely on the objective of buying from local farmers. You see, in the course of this journey, I had discovered a second quiet pandemic in Nigeria, and that's the scourge of malnutrition. I was petrified when I learned that acute malnutrition causes the death of 45% of children under the age of 5, and these cases were heavily situated in the rural parts of the country. And so it's no wonder that nearly all efforts to fight malnutrition has been focused in these areas. But then I had come across research showing that the degree of urban malnutrition is actually frequently more severe than in the rural areas. For instance, according to the Global Nutrition Report, overweight amongst children in urban areas is 7.1% on average, while in rural areas it's 6.2%. As an urban dweller myself, I had a first-hand view on how most of us tend to eat too much overly processed nonsense foods, in my view. They are high in added sugars and sodium and fats. And so our second objective at Nuli was to fight this through good, nutritious food served from our restaurant locations across Lagos, Africa's largest city. We extended our offering from producing only juices to also serving meals that embrace the diversity of our local agriculture with a focus on fruits and vegetables and whole grains with improved nutrition. You see, I lived in both New York and Chicago for a few years, and so I knew what a restaurant dedicated to serving nutritious foods wasn't a novel idea. But with $10 salads, I couldn't fathom how everyday workers could make this a standard lifestyle routine. It was just too expensive. And so for me, I knew that if I wanted to achieve the transformation that was required in urban diets, we had to make our nutritious meals more accessible. We needed to make it easy for urban dwellers to comfortably adopt a healthier lifestyle through eating our foods. Affordability was everything. Think dollar salads and juices. That's actually Nuli. Healthy foods should not be expensive if we ever want to achieve nutrition equity. Today, as I consider the ongoing global health crisis, I now more than ever believe in our locally grown business model at Nuli. The closure of borders has meant that Nigerians have no choice but to look inwards and look at what we have right here. Also, evolving data is showing that countries with a high prevalence of populations with diet-related non-communicable diseases, such as diabetes and obesity and heart disease, have recorded the most amount of COVID-19 deaths. A healthy, nutritious diet strengthens the immune system and is critical to fight off the virus. And so it's so ironic to me that in these times, the foods being given out to the poor as palliatives, or what households in cities are stocking up in their fridges, are high-calorie staples that have limited to no nutrient value. At Nuli, we say no to this, and to demonstrate our values, we're using this opportunity to donate our healthy meals to healthcare workers at the front line of this fight. Over the last month, we donated over 300 of our fruit and vegetable juices, our smoothies, and our meals to these heroes, even at a time when our revenues has dropped over 80%. It's my hope that our efforts will be complemented by other institutions, both public and private, to do all we can to influence better, healthier food choices at all times. I truly wish that we use this crisis as an opportunity to think through how to redesign our food system to genuinely focus on the health benefits of nutritious foods, as well as make progress in mainstreaming nutrition in our public health systems across the world. My dream for the future is that access to good nutrition will not be heavily dependent on income, and we are finally able to democratize good-for-you foods while empowering local farmers along the way. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of the conference.